Hey, what is going on, guys? DK. Back at you with another video here to bring the two-game Olympic basketball slate that starts Wednesday night. This is the semifinal games. Super excited to watch both of these games. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. Just uploaded a video for the first NFL preseason game of the season, the Hall of Fame game, Steelers, Cowboys. Make sure to check that one out, guys. Starts on Thursday. I also make videos for PGA Fantasy Sports and NBA Top Shot. If you're unable to watch these YouTube videos, I will also upload an Apple podcast. I'll have a link in the description below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you're interested in signing up for premium content, now is the perfect time. I offer 3 different packages. NFL, it includes preseason. NBA, which includes Olympic basketball, and Summer League, which is starting up in a couple of days. And then esports includes Call of Duty and CSGO. And then Gold Package, which is a combination of everything. Again, I put out roster construction videos, player pools, do private live streams every single slate. So definitely worth it, guys. Put a ton of work into it. And again, now is a good time with the beginning of the month starting up. And then I do want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring this episode. So 2 different ways you can play Prize Picks. Again, they don't have Olympic men's basketball stuff up yet, but I expect that to be later today, tomorrow. So first way is you take over-under on fantasy points. Prize Picks will post players in the scores. You either take the over, the under, or single stats. So they will post, over-under. You can take over-under in points. They'll have assists. They'll have rebounds. So I like it. Again, it's a nice change of pace. If you guys want to try it out, you can sign up. Use the code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word. I'll have a link down below. You get a 100% match up to $100. So basically, you deposit $100 using my code. You get a free $100 to play with. And finally, I just want to thank you guys again for everything, for all of your support on the live streams, on Twitter, as well as on these YouTube videos. If you could, leave a like button on the live stream, or leave a like button on the YouTube video. Let's try to aim for 100 likes on this one. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos and you know when live. We'll have a busy date on Thursday with NFL and Olympic basketball, but planning to do live streams for both. And all right, so before we talk about players and the prices for this 2-game slate, we can look back lineup here from the last main slate, the 4-game slate. So just finished out of the money in the main slate because Nico Mannion decides he doesn't want to make a shot. 1 of 10 shooting. 1 of 10. Really, Nico Mannion. I did make some money back in the showdown on Draftkings, and then I also cashed on FanDuel. So even though I just missed in the main slate in tournaments, I did make some back in the showdown. So let's go over my lineup. Luka, Brasino, KD, Polonara, Nicholas K, Mannion, Yabusele, and Landul. So on Patreon, I was hammering home. Use both Australian centers. They are too cheap. Nicholas K went for 29 fantasy points. Jack Landul went for 34 in a blowout. My spend ups, Luka Doncic did get hurt by the blowout a little bit, got pulled about 3.5 minutes left. Now you may think, 3.5 minutes, not that big of a deal. That's actually massive for Luka. 3.5 minutes is like 7-8 fantasy points. So he would have got close to 60 fantasy points if the game would have stayed close. So blowout hurt him a little bit, and then Kevin Durant was solid. Again, the small forward is pretty weak, so I used him as my other spend up. Value, so Brasino was a little bit of a letdown. Again, though, I was looking to punt that position. I was either going to punt it or spend up with Fournier. There was a few guys, value shooting guards. None of them really did good, but it allowed me to get, those stars into my lineup. Polonara was one guy I was also very high on, over 27 fantasy points. Really liked him. And then, Yabusele was a letdown, only played 11 minutes. And obviously, Nico Mannion was one that really hurt. He was low owned. If he just has a decent shooting game, I have a big night in the main slate, but decided to shoot 1 of 10. So sometimes that's the way it goes, but was definitely on the right path here and just had some bad variance there with Nico Mannion and his shooting. But that's it for the look back, guys. Hope you had a good day. I know a lot of you guys had continuing to make some money here on these main slates in the showdown slate, so looking good. And again, let's keep it rolling for this 2-game slate. So let's take a look at the Vegas odds. Australia and USA, it's a 179.5 over under. United States are 11.5 point favorites. And Slovenia, France, 174.5 over under. Slovenia, 2.5 point favorites. So we'll start off on the Australia side. And at the top, Patty Mills. I really like him at 10.6K. Only played 25 minutes last game. Not worried at all. That game was just a massive blowout. Other 3 games, 35, 36, 33. And I do think he might play a couple more minutes too, like maybe 37 to 38 minutes, because this is a game that should be trailing. Right? I mentioned it with Spain and Ricky Rubio, how he's only playing low to mid-20s minutes. So I was like, hey, it's do or die time. I think he plays more. I believe Rubio cracked 30-plus minutes. He went off. And that's what I think is going to happen with Patty Mills. I think he's going to play a little bit more. He is their clear go-to guy. He's going to handle the ball a ton. Great scorer. I really like Patty Mills. One of my favorite spend-ups there at 10.6K. Now, with Ingles and Thibault kind of in the upper mid-range here, 8.5 and 7K. Ingles, I think, is just a fair play at this price. Should play 30 minutes. Should be, one of their top options in the offense. Can kind of do it all. But the price is kind of just fair. Like, I don't love the price. And then Thibault, 7K, I do think might play a couple extra minutes here. They need his defense against USA. Like, I think he'll guard KD at times. So he's a guy that can obviously, stuff the stat sheet, get some blocks and steals. But I don't love the price on DraftKings. Again, I do think he plays more, but it's going to be a little bit difficult to get to him. 2 guys like, again, Nicholas Clay, Jock Landale. Australia runs a very tight rotation, 7-8-man rotation. Now, the one worry here with these 2 centers, United States like going small. They like pushing the pace and going small, and we saw it with Spain. Spain is a really big roster. Both Gasol bros barely played that game. They want a little bit more of a versatile big in Hernan Gomez. So is it possible K and Landale's minutes go down? Yes. However, even if they go down and they play only like low 20s minutes, I still think they're a little bit underpriced. So K at 5.3, like him a good amount here. Again, averaging high 20s to low 30s minutes. And Jock Landale averaging mid 20s minutes. Both are productive. Both are good scores. I like them both again here at their respective prices. Now, 2 of the guys I mentioned will be in the rotation, Dante Exum, Matthew Dellavedova. Exum's at a shooting guard position that is pretty weak. He should play around 20 minutes. Can have some upside. It's gone for about 20 fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 games. So I think a decent value. And then Dellavedova, I do expect to play. A okay defender, probably plays high teens minutes. A guy that will handle the ball at times. So another fair value play, but I don't love it. And then Aaron Baines, again, not going to play, so do not play him. I don't really expect any of these other guys to play. Maybe Goulding gets a little bit of run, but not enough for me to consider him at that price. I'm moving on to the United States. So once again, we have Lillard and KD at the top, and I'm going to lean KD. And it's just because he has a much higher floor. Since Drew Holiday and Devin Booker joined this team, the minutes on Lillard have been going down a little bit, where the minutes on KD have been staying consistent. In a competitive game, he should play over 30 minutes. This game projected to stay close, and he played 31 minutes last game against Spain. Now, he's a guy, obviously, that is going to be their clear go-to guy that can get some rebounds, block some shots, get some steals. So KD, one of the top options for sure as a spend-up. Damian Lillard, right now, nothing more than a contrarian dart throw. I expect, low to mid-20s minutes, but a little bit hard to prioritize that price point. Then we have Drew Holiday, Zach LaVine, Devin Booker. All 3 I expect to push for 20 to 25 minutes. However, all 3 are not at the best prices. I guess if I had to pick one, it would be Booker, since he's the cheapest of the bunch, but still going to be a little bit difficult to get to one of the secondary guys here for USA. Tatum probably comes on the bench and plays around 20 minutes. Again, don't love the price, though. Bam Adebayo, I think, is solid. I think he plays around 20 to 25 minutes. The issue is he's only center eligible, but I do think he'll be, have a pretty consistent role on this team. And then Draymond Milton probably play 15 to 20 minutes off the bench, but both seem a little bit overpriced. All right, let's move on to Slovenia and France. So the question here is, again, what do we do with Luka Doncic? Well, if you play Luka Doncic, you can only play one more star in your lineup. If you fade Luka Doncic, then you can technically get 3 stars in your lineup. So, again, the question is, how well do you think Luka plays? Well, he lost some minutes because of blowout. He would have played about 37 minutes if the game would stay competitive. He had a bad first half only with 18 fantasy points. In the second half, he really turned it on and, again, lost some minutes in a blowout. So, I do really like Luka here. It's just you're going to have to sacrifice a decent amount to get him in. So, again, the question I'll ask is, do you go to Luka or do you not? I think either works, right? Because there's other good spin-ups. We talked about Mills. We talked about KD. We'll get to Fournier and some of these other guys in France I think are certainly viable. So I think either way works, right? If you do go Luka, you're going to have to sacrifice a decent amount. If you fade him, then you can get 3 stars in. It's a little bit easier to build a lineup. So, like, if Luka goes for 60+, I'll say he's probably needed. If he goes for, 50 to 55, I think the winning lineup is probably going to be without him. So this is a really tough call here, and the key to the slate is getting Luka right, whether or not you play him or you go for the risky fade. Now, the other guys here in Slovenia, if I'm going to go to a secondary option, once again, it's going to be Mike Tobey. As I sound like a broken record, but the 2-man game with him and Luka Doncic is there. He's gone for double-digit rebounds in each of the first 4 games. He's a good on the offensive end, can hit some threes, can get some putbacks. Went for 13, 11, 2-1 last game. I think is a solid play at 8.8K. Do think he's a little bit underpriced. I do think he plays 30-plus minutes. Now, Kanchar, Dragic feel a little bit overpriced. I know Zoran Dragic had a big game last game. Be careful here, right? Yes, he went for 48 fantasy points. He shot 11 of 13. Let's take a look at a couple other games. So he's been very up and down. Against Spain, 24 minutes, 13 fantasy points. Against Argentina, didn't shoot well, 2 of 7. 21 minutes, 14 fantasy points. This game against Japan, shot really well, 10 of 13. Had a really good game. So the upside is there with Zoran, but he does have to hit his shots. So right now, more of a contrarian play. I do think he'll be a little bit over-owned. Then we have Prepelic and Blazic. Both lost a little bit of run because Zoran Dragic played so well. I would think Prepelic plays around 20 minutes off the bench. He is a higher usage guy off the bench. And then Blazic probably starts and plays mid-20s minutes. So both those guys are playable at a weaker shooting guard position, but neither really stand out at their respective prices. A couple of guys here to talk about. Ido Miric at 4.7. I expect mid-teens minutes from him. He's not, a very aggressive player on the offensive end, and there's just better plays, I think, at small forward. And finally, I mentioned Ziga Dimic because he's really cheap at 3.7. Probably plays about 8 minutes, but I don't think we'll have to go there on this two-game slate. So let's finish up with France, guys. Rudy Gobert at the top at 8.6K. Had a good game last game, but I think he's still a little bit overpriced. I expect, 25 to 30 minutes from him, but I don't think I want to spend 8.6K for Rudy Gobert. Now, Fournier is a guy I'm definitely considering spending up for. Again, shooting guard is weak. He should play mid-30s minutes in a competitive game. This game against USA, competitive, 34. Game against Italy, competitive, 35 minutes. So he's going to be their top option offense. 28, 21 real-life points in those two competitive games. So I do really like the price here on Evan Fournier. Definitely one of my favorite spend-ups. Now, Nando De Colo lost minutes last game. Only played 17. This game was in the middle of the night, so I wasn't able to watch it. He only played 17 minutes, shot 0 of 5. He did have 3 fouls. So I'll ask you guys this. If you watch this game, did he get an early foul trouble and that's why he lost minutes? Because other games that were close, 32-25. So I'm not really sure. I looked. I saw he had 3 fouls, so maybe he got an early foul trouble and that's why he lost some minutes. But again, I'll ask you guys, if any of you watched it, let me know on De Colo and if he got in some foul trouble. But I would think if he stays out of foul trouble and this game stays close, he plays 25 to 30 minutes. He's a good point per guy because he's going to handle the ball a ton. A guy that's great at assists, again, 5, 8, 5, 7 assists. So a little bit interested in Nicolo there as contrarian spend up. And then Nick Batum. Talked about him. I really liked him as a safe play. He took over last game. 15, 14, 3, 3, and 2. A massive game for Nick Batum. I know a lot of you guys got onto him. Was very low owned. He was about 10 to 50% owned last slate. It's crazy, right? He was that low owned last slate. Now he's going to be the chalk of the chalk. He should play over 30 minutes. He's a guy that can kind of do it all. This game, a little bit of an outlier. Like, I wouldn't expect 50 fantasy points, but I do think he plays over 30 minutes and probably gets 25 to 30 fantasy points. So I think Nick Batum is one of the better plays, in the mid-range. Really do like him at that price, even though he's going to be popular. And then a couple other guys to talk about here. So TLC at 4.5K probably plays 15 to 20 minutes off the bench. Fair play because he's shooting guard eligible. Hurdle's a guy that played a little bit more last game with De Colo's minutes going down. 23 minutes, went for 17 fantasy points. Also a guy that will play the point guard position. A fair value play of 4.3. Poirier's minutes went down, did only play 6 minutes last game, which obviously is going to be difficult to get to him there. And then Yabusele started, but only played 11 minutes. So his minutes haven't been huge. He's really, really cheap. Is there a chance he plays more in this game? It's possible. So yes, you can roll the dice in Yabusele, but I wouldn't expect a ton of minutes from him. All right, guys. So that is going to do it for the breakdown of this 2-game slate. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Good luck, and I'll see you all in the live stream Wednesday night.